Good morning, everyone, and welcome to End of April Entropia A&S Investments video. So, how did we go this month compared to last month? We went a bit better. Had a really interesting incorporation into Mayhem, which I thought I'd give a go. What I done was I done probably 10 days of Mayhem and just farmed boxes and items and output amplifier components. And as you can see in the sales list here, strong boxes make up a large percentage of our sales there. And that is the reason this MU profit is probably higher than it should have been. Although Mindark seemed to have cashed in a little bit on this extra MU and decided to do a little bit of extra milking, if you know what I mean. But all in all, sales were pretty good. People didn't overpay for stuff. People paid about what they usually would pay. The price of amps went up considerably. At one stage there, we were selling amps for around 150%, I think. And then that has gone back down to standard market prices, which is around about the 130% mark for LM 28s and 33s. People are still paying good money for amps, and they're even paying good money for guns as well. So that our business turns over a bit more than that in those item areas, and we do well out of those. So all in all, we had a good month of sales. Components sold pretty good. Some component prices have actually gone up, which is helping our cause. Explosive projectile recycled blueprints were a no-show this month. We basically almost got literally maybe 2 or 3 out of the whole month. But I suppose you got to put in that the fact that I wasn't crafting for those 10 days. I mean, I did craft, but it wasn't standard values because of Mayhem. So I'm not going to let them go though. It was even the big crafts I did do, very little amount of recycled blueprints showed up, so that didn't add to our ledger much at all this month. Yeah. So that's the turnover this month. As you can see, we're well and truly covering our gameplay and our investment payouts. So good there. Next month has already started, as you can see. I've already got a little bit of a start on next month. Sold some Regulite and stuff. And summary sheet. So, like I said last month, we are slowly starting to see this percentage raise, this 92.18%. I'm just going to say, to get that to 95% is going to take a big payout. Because if you look at some of these percentages and some of these crafts, they're starting to get to some key levels. Like we've already got we're using 50,000 ped as a benchmark because that's what they said in their website. They gave us the reference of 50,000 ped, even though they meant hunting. I'm going to sort of use it across the board because in a lot of the instances we're seeing here, it doesn't really matter. Like if you look at basic sheet metal crafting and basic sensor crafting, you can craft 5,000 ped of those, and it's basically a 95% return. You don't need to get to 50,000 to get that 95% return. These blueprints, they're just letting run at 95%. Whereas you got something like Super Alloy Mountings had 66,000 ped run through it, it's still sitting at 82%, which means they're either using these blueprints to perform said milking, and they never intend to really balance you up, or they're putting you in a backlog and they're going to balance you up in maybe, we don't even know what the amount is, but I'm not saying that it won't balance up. I'm pretty confident that it will, but it's interesting to see the mechanics of the engine of the game and how they're going about their business and breaking it down in this way. Like my favorite comparing two blueprints are metal mountings and hardened metal mountings because they are both the same level, use basically the both similar amount of ped of materials, but and they're pretty except for one. No, I think they're both 95% return blueprints, but as far as I know, in game, these two blueprints are almost identical. And as you can see, one's had 48,000 put through it at 95% return. One's had nearly double the amount of money put through it, same level and everything, and it's at 87% return. We're talking about that's just about to hit a 100,000 peds cycled, and they haven't even been able to crawl over the 90% mark. So we don't know whether this is intentional or whether, I'm starting to think it's intentional. I'm thinking they've gone through the list and said, all right, let's cap this, this, and this, and if they craft 200,000 ped of them, we'll even them back up then, Who knows? We just don't know. This is a wait and see. So I guess watch this space to see what happens there. But it is interesting to look at this list and see how things are going. If you look at something like my residue crafts, when you look at my residue crafts page, where are we? We go here, residue crafts. So this is just stuff that I haven't segmented into a broken down craft. This because I just craft too much, and I can't have a tab open for every single item. And what gets put in here is basically stuff that I'm crafting to make residue to make items. So stuff like, and daily, so metal plating, pawl stools. I put basic filters in here, things that I really aren't too concerned about registering all of the details like I would in something like let's just go back over here to metal mountings, right? I wanted to see metal mountings because I craft so many of them. I wanted to see the breakdown. I wanted to see how often we got recycled blueprints out of this blueprint. So I really wanted a detailed breakdown of what we got out of this craft. So for things like that, yes, I dedicate a tab. But for everything else, it goes into that residue crafts. And as you can see by the summary page, all in all, over generic sort of, that's 695,000 ped put through that one tab. It is at 91.55% return. And as you can imagine, there's going to be a mixture of 85-ish to 90% blueprints in there that are behaving the way these other blueprints are. And there's also going to be a mixture of the 95 and 96% because there's items in there as well. If you look through this list, items basically are pretty much 95 to 96% return on most items. I'd be surprised, like, if I look through my list here, I can't really find an item unless it hasn't had a lot put through it that meets the 95% requirement. So it's components are the problem mainly. If you were ever to look at it, that's where your issues are going to lie, is in components. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with them. I've noticed the player base has dropped a bit. I know there's a lot of NFT games coming out and everything at the moment. People are going to dabble into those, but people are coming out of some of those NFT games. Some people are making money out of the NFT scene and then coming in here to spend it, which is a good thing. I notice a lot of newer people in Rookie Chat coming in and asking questions. I just came from this game, or I just sold some of this, so I've got some money, because at the moment that market's a little bit shaky. The prices are down. The prices will go back up, but what I'm saying, it's shaky. At least Entropia is a solid platform. We can get in here. We know what to expect. And, it's more stable than those other arenas, because if you look at something like the recent ApeCoin thing, it went up to $28 and dropped to 17. Some people don't want to be involved in that sort of instability. Some people like to be involved in that instability, but Entropia provides, I guess, the stable coin of games when it comes to gaming. So this is where people want to be, to sort of hang out while there's bad shit going on in the crypto market. I think that's the way it's going anyway. It feels that way. As you can see for the mining is sitting at 94.4-ish% pretty much the whole time now. As my mining levels have gone up, I've noticed the volatility, apart from a surprising volatility last month, which they did make back, mind you, because we got back up to the 94.4. The mining volatility at the levels, I'm almost level 70 prospector and surveyor now. I'm level 76 miner. I do have a lot of metallurgy skill as well, which is involved in mining from crafting. So we don't know what the combination is, but all I know is that the volatility in my mining for the last maybe 10 levels has flattened right out, and it's really nice, unless I start using big amps. I don't think they're going to forgive anyone for using big amps at any level. But as for using my unlimited level 1 and my standard DSEC 30 Finder or TerraMaster 4, whatever I happen to have on me, the mining percentages are nothing to complain about anyway. And with the current MU on a lot of the mining goods, it's a good environment. So come and see me on the 5th, all you investors out there that may be watching this video, and collect your dividend. And I'm just going to put in a small footnote. I'm actually working on a A&S Investments crypto business where I'll be teaching people how to use Binance and 3 bots. to their advantage so that they're not scared of volatility. This is like, I noticed a lot of YouTubers out there going, you know, you can never guess where bottom or where top is in crypto. Well, you don't need to. I found a way where you can just invest a chunk of money and just let it do its thing. And if crypto goes down, it goes down. If it goes up, it goes up. It takes all the worry out of it. You just invest and away you go for as little as about $1,000 US. So let me know, anyone that's interested in doing such a thing, because the business, I'll be working on the artwork and stuff for the crypto page and all that, and putting it on my Facebook and probably Twitter even. And my aim is to help people understand the world of crypto and also understand that they don't need to be scared of losing their money in it. Unless it all goes to zero, like Warren Buffett seems to think it is, but we all know that that's not going to happen. If you put enough research into cryptocurrency and do a deep dive, you'll actually find out that there's no use case for it, is actually shallow as shit. They put out this FUD to make you all panic sell so that they can all buy it. There's a lot of information out there on the amount of Bitcoin left and how much of it's already been soaked up by rich people. And they basically put out little media campaigns to scare shit out of you to sell all your stuff because you think it's going to go to zero, and they gobble it all up. Just remember, there's already Venezuela and Central Africa who has made Bitcoin a legal tender. There is a use case for it. You can go into those countries and you can buy a house with Bitcoin. It's not nothing. It is legal tender. So it's only going to get more and more as the world economy collapses, which it is on its way to doing. I don't know if anyone's noticed or not, but yeah, it's not looking good for normal money. Anyway, I'll wrap that up. No use droning on too long. I'll see you guys at the end of next month, and hopefully things get a little bit better. This month wasn't too bad. I think mine dipped their hand into my pocket a little bit too deep. Yeah, but if they can just do a little bit more of a shallower grab next month, I'd be pretty happy. All right, guys. Talk to you next month, and see you next time.